It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Here's a quick update about the Shanghai Lockdown. Lockdown Part 3, The Revenge. Yeah, it happened. So, I'm going to turn up the brightness a bit there so you can see my face a little more. Under this hat, this sweet hat from Animal MMA. It's a gym where I coach some classes, except I'm not able to be there and coach classes this week because we're locked down again. So what happened? The entire city of Shanghai, if you don't know, was locked down. This wasn't happening all over China, but it was happening in Shanghai because the government decided to enact a policy called COVID-0, where they decided to try to exterminate the COVID-19 virus for good, starting with the model city of Shanghai, the largest city in China. If they could do it here, they could do it anywhere, right? So, they enacted this incredibly wild plan to lock down the entire city, meaning every single citizen, every human being in the city is confined to their homes, unable to leave their front door for several months. This had an astronomical cost of $67 billion per month, so 2.5 months, we're talking about well over $100 billion, almost $200 billion in losses. Massive. Shortly after, a comparable number of COVID cases were discovered in Beijing. And after the massive amount of losses in Shanghai and the massive inconvenience to every citizen, the people there were like, maybe let's not do that here. Let's try something else to save face. How about mandatory vaccinations for everybody? This is interesting because up to this point, the government of China had never required mandatory vaccinations of anyone. Vaccines were offered, whether you wanted them or chose not to, that was fine. There were no vaccine passports or anything like that other countries had. But in Beijing, they decided maybe let's have mandatory vaccines, and nowhere else in this country is that happening. You would think if the vaccine worked, if it was effective, if it was an effective deterrent against COVID-19, if it was effective toward reaching China's COVID-0 policy, that instead of spending $200 billion, instead of losing that massive amount of money in Shanghai, they would have just said, hey, let's inoculate everybody in the city. But they didn't. Probably because they knew something. Maybe that won't actually work. So anyway, the city was locked down. About 2.5 months, and they had a bit of a soft reopening. Lockdown phase 2, which was more or less what most of the rest of the world considered a lockdown. Non-essential businesses were still closed, but you could go out and walk around on the street, have a look around, go grocery shopping, which was awesome because for those 2.5 months where everybody's locked inside, nobody could, and so a lot of people went hungry and suffered greatly. Anyway. So the whole city is not locked down again, but about 20 apartment complexes in this city are, including mine. So essentially, I won the lottery here. Woohoo! Yeah. So supposedly, we're locked down for 9 days. Those 9 days will come to an end at the end of this week. Supposedly, but I've heard those words before. Before we were all locked down for the long run. So why are we locked down? Because somebody who was asymptomatic, carrying the COVID-19 virus, came into our complex, visited some friends, had dinner, left. And in spite of the fact that everybody in this entire complex, everybody in this city has been tested for COVID every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, for months, and nobody in this apartment complex, ex post facto, has tested positive, we're still locked down under suspicion by association, guilt by association, because now being sick is a crime. And not just in China, literally anywhere. As it always has been. Seriously. Those carrying the plague have always been anathema. Unclean, unclean, get away from me with your leprosy. It's how we treat the sick, it's how we always have. So nothing new here, friends, nothing new. So if you've been following the channel, you've probably seen some videos where I was at the gym, making some videos with Jordan Chow, my good friend, or next to the South China Sea on the island of Hainan. yeah, in the interim, the couple of weeks they let us out, my family and I took a trip to Hainan. Had a great time out there on the beach. We came back, and the next day they locked us in by surprise. Surprise, you're locked in. Oh, goody. So, most of the rest of the city is operating as normal. My gym is open again. But, I can't go there. I can't teach. So, yeah, the other coaches are having to toe the line right here in my absence. And my students are wondering, what happened? What happened? Did Ramsey skip town? No, I'm still here, friends. I'm still here. I just can't leave right now. Hopefully by the end of the week we'll see you again. So, I have recorded some videos that I haven't published yet, where I'm not locked down. Some videos at the gym, a couple more videos with Jordan Chow, some more videos in Hainan, walking by the beachside, etc. So look forward to those. I'm saying this because every time I publish one of those, someone's like, I'm so glad you're not locked down anymore. I'm like, actually, yeah, we are. So that's the story, friends. That's the story. I'll keep you posted, let you know if we're out by the end of the week. Hopefully we will be in the meantime. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.